we're just gonna have to deal with this weird, like, lighting situation. I'm done fiddling with it. So, I'm here with another TBR, and I'm just hoping it's not gonna fail this time. I didn't play my game this time, just because I had a few goals I wanted to reach. I just didn't feel like my game would help me get those goals. So I'm just gonna show you what books I picked out. Because if I don't pick out any books, I'm not gonna read. Even though the past few months have been anything, even if I pick up books, I'm not gonna read. Been hitting like a really bad reading slump. But the past few days have been better. Yeah. So let's just jump into it. I'm gonna show you what I got from the library first. I got this book, Queer Little Nightmares, an anthology of monstrous fiction and poetry. Now, Pride Month in a lot of places takes place in June, but in New Brunswick specifically, where I am, it takes place in July. So, I'm not late. I was actually a little early because I got this in at the end of June. Yeah, and I didn't recognize any of the names, which is why I picked it up, and they seem quite diverse, from what you can tell, name-wise anyways. Oh, David Demchek. I recognize his name. I've read a book by him, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So I wonder if these are Canadian. Because he's Canadian. I don't know. Now I'm curious. I just picked this up because I like the title. Okay, I don't know. But David Demchek is Canadian, so that'd be cool if these are Canadian authors. Yeah. Then I got this book. I was wanting some true crime, like in a book format. I've been enjoying those. So I picked up American Predator, The Hunt for the Most Meticulous Serial Killer of the 21st Century by Maureen Callahan. This is about the murderer Israel Keyes. And he apparently buried kill kits in remote locations across the country. And over the course of 14 years, he killed... I don't think it says how many people he's killed. But yeah, so... always a little interesting to throw that kind of stuff in there. Some more horror, this time not so real life. This is Junji Ito's Tombs. And Junji Ito is one of my favorite manga artists. Trying to find something. Can maybe show you. That's not as like detailed as his work gets. He gets quite graphic. And yeah, so I don't feel safe showing a lot of the stuff. It's a lot of body horror kind of stuff. There's something that shows like a good amount of detail. There's like a place there, but I believe this is another anthology. So there's more than one story in here, I believe. Yeah. The first story is, just gotta double check. The first story is Tombs, and then the rest are in there as well. Another comic I got is Your Black Friend and Other Strangers by Ben Passmore. To be honest, I didn't have a chance to look too closely. I just picked this up and liked the colors. I was taking I work in a group home, so I was taking them to the library, and I decided to go look for myself. And I picked this one up and flipped through it. The title intrigued me and the colors pretty cool. And then I'm rereading Ulysses as well. Sorry, this book's stained. It wasn't by me. So I decided to pick this up when I saw it. James Joyce, Portrait of a Dubliner. A graphic biography of James Joyce. He was a very interesting person. I think I've said multiple times that I do not like James Joyce. I like James Joyce's writing, but him himself, I wonder if they'll go into some of his more questionable activities and beliefs. So yeah, that's it from the library. I'm just gonna move them over here. And these are books from my shelves. So I got Fugitive Telemetry. This is the most recent book in the Murderbot series. I finished the novel earlier this year, so I actually picked this one up. I bought this one before I had read the last two that came before this. So I can finally read it. I only own the first book, and this is technically the last book that's been published so far. There is another book, I believe, coming in November, if I heard correctly. Murderbot. I don't know how you've stumbled across this video and haven't heard of Murderbot, but it's exactly what the title says, but not really. I'm not going to explain it. I don't have the time to go into the nuances of Murderbot. Just pick up the books and read them. They're like all short. They're really good. Okay. Then this is a book I got recently, Like People in History by Felice Bacano. Yeah, interesting story. I was looking for this book on my shelf and I couldn't remember the name of the author because my books are sorted on my shelves by author last name. So I asked Google, and it sounded like it was saying McConnor, and I was like, I'm not seeing any McConnor, and I don't remember it being McConnor, but it's Pacano. I don't know why, and I turned the volume up and everything, why it said McConnor. Anyways, this Edmund White calls this book The Gay Gone with the Wind. Yeah, it's about the American gay life and subculture over the last half of the 20th century. Going through, it's fiction, but it goes through gay history from the 1950s through Woodstock, Stonewall, Vietnam to San Francisco, Fire Island, and AIDS. So that'll be interesting. And then I picked up this one because I figured short books would probably be best to kind of counterbalance some other things I have going on. So this is by Grand Central Station. I sat down and wept. And yeah, so this is about an affair she had with another writer, a poet, and he was married. It's a big messy story. I don't know if they're talking about the writing. I don't know if they talk about the story. Her real life inspired this, but yeah, it sounds interesting, I think. We'll find out. And then I've had this on my shelf for at least 2.5 years, because this was like one of the first books I bought when I moved to New Brunswick. The whole series was at the thrift store for $1.99 each, so I was like, yes, please. And then they've been sitting on my shelves. So, Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie. This is a great science fiction novel from what I've heard. We are following who cares about the plot? The reason I picked this book up is hopefully the plot's half decent. The reason I picked this book up is because I believe there's plays on gender. And there's like a collective person. So like they're more than one body, but it's all one person type thing. Vaguely trying to remember. I did read like the first 20 pages one time. Yeah, so that's why I picked that one up. And these next two are books that I have started, and I started them in June, and they were on my June TBR, but obviously they're on this TBR too, so I haven't finished them. And that one is Unconditional by Brian Zond, and this is about like radical forgiveness. So the idea of like God radically forgiving humans to the point of like universalism, so the belief that everyone goes to heaven, and also like how we should mimic that as people, and the difficulties that come with that, like being like forgiving, you know, things that can be hard to forgive. Yeah, it's so I'm interested to learn more about that. And then I have been working my way through Poetics of Space. I'm only 24 pages in, but the introduction is not included in the counted pages. So I did read the introduction as well. So I've read more than 24 pages, but this is a philosophy of the house, and he introduced this concept in the introduction about phenomenological. I think I said that right. It's a hard word to say because I also want to go phenomena, but you know, phenomenological experience, reading and theory and stuff like that. I'm not here to talk about theory right now. Okay, and then I also each month want to read a play and a poem, or poems, not just one poem, but poems. And so I picked this up the days are blurring together. I think it was just yesterday. Yeah. It's just, I go to Value Village on my own, and then the people at work want to go to Value Village, so I end up going twice, and I can't remember which day I picked this up, but recently I picked this up at the thrift store. Risen in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry, and this is about a black family in America. It's a classic. It's a classic. And then for my book of poetry, I'm not gonna necessarily read this whole thing. I just kind of want to read a poem a day. So I picked up the Seagull Reader Poems 2nd edition. And this just has random poems in here. So I don't recognize all these names. Oh, this one has notes written on it. Picnic Lightning by Billy Collins. It seems like there's a good Robert Frost, Gerard Manley Hopkins, Etheridge Knight, Marion Moore, Adrian Rich, William Shakespeare, Shelley. Getting to people who recognize the classics. I need to get more familiar with other poets. William Wordsworth, Yeats, so that kind of stuff. It seems to go all over the place. So yeah, I thought there was a variety of poetry to read in there. And then I bought this book intending to read it in June, and I spent a pretty penny on this book because it's new. And if you're in Canada, books are expensive. And it's My Favorite Things Monsters, Volume 2. I've been waiting years for this book because I love the first volume. And so it went, I think, a week after the release date to buy it. So yeah, I'm going to there's the thingy. I was beeping as I went out, but I have my receipt. I did buy it. But even the lady at the cash register, she was looking for the beeper thing. Anywho, so yeah, it's like reading a notebook. And this, I gotta be careful because there's graphic imagery in here. This is about a young girl. Her brother gets murdered, and she has to kind of she wants to solve his murder. She's really interested in detective noirs and monsters and stuff like that. But meanwhile, we're also getting the story of her neighbor, who was forced into prostitution during World War II. So that's pretty cool. So just and I don't know if the camera's, picking up the line, so it is an actual notebook. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to reading that. So that is, I believe, my TBR. I didn't go too much into the other comics I want to read, just because I'm kind of playing that by ear, kind of seeing what's available online and stuff, and reading those on my phone at work when we have downtime. So yeah, that's it for July. Hopefully I can stick with it this time. Let me know what you're looking forward to reading in July, and thank you for watching.